So, I've been a Spurs fan since about 2007, 2008, I suppose. Basically, my dad got me into Tottenham in a big way when I was a kid. He took me to my first game, which was Newcastle at home. I can't remember the year off the top of my head, but we won 2-0. And that was kind of the big moment for me. I went with my cousins, my dad, and I was probably lucky that we won because I wasn't really that into football at the time, and if it hadn't been for that, I possibly could have been a bit bored by it. But I think it was the fact that it was at the lane, and the crowd was going just crazy, that it kind of it became like this big moment, and then I kind of bought into what the thing was about. I mean, not properly because you're a kid, but like, which is a funny thing to say, really, because like you're a kid, and you're a kid even when you're like me now, or my dad at the moment. Like, you never really grow up if you kind of end up in the football world. Just always one of the boys. Which has its own things about it, but yeah. So I started following them a lot closer then. Obviously, again, kind of lucky because they're never like one of the big sides when I started supporting them, but they had a lot of history, and they got enough coverage on Sky Sports or Match of the Day or whatever that it was easy enough to follow them. And we were watching like week in, week out on TV, and like radio, because obviously before like internet streaming and that. So just listening to the radio, getting the results come in, it's always really stressful. And then we were trying to get season tickets for ages, and we couldn't get them. But we used to go to the Europa League games, the group stage games, because they were the ones that you could get tickets for. Because no one really wants to be in the Europa League. I mean, we do, but we didn't want to be in the Europa League at that point because we wanted to be a Champions League side. So yeah, we made a lot of games for that. I saw us play like small teams from Norway, or used to go and watch those the teams that someone like me can't really pronounce very sensitively or accurately, so I'm not going to try. But yeah, so it was just really good experience from that point onwards, going through, and then basically it'd always been in the back of our heads, but and they'd always been talking about it, but we built a new stadium, and that became a big thing because that changed everything for us, because suddenly we're going to have all this extra space and we could get season tickets finally, because we'd gotten to about 10,000 in the queue, I think, and that was that was looking at being more like another 7 or 8 years, maybe, probably longer, to kind of get in, and then suddenly it was like right away. So we got tickets and we spent those seasons in Wembley, which was weird because obviously we'd been so good at home, and then we had a bit of a blip, but we actually did really well at Wembley in the end, a lot better than I think a lot of people thought we would. And then like I was gutted actually. I missed the opening of the new stadium because I had to go away for work, but I was there for the Champions League game against Man City, and it was the first Champions League game at the new stadium, and it was electric. It was just, I've never heard a better atmosphere in my life. It was just, it was rocking. It was insane. But anyway, that kind of takes us to now. I've been a season ticket holder for a few years now, and I'm, just figuring out what to do, what to do with myself at the moment. But that's why I thought I'd make this. Now my schedule as a football fan changes. Obviously, things happen, and like you can't always get to away days and stuff like that. But it's funny how my day changes, and it affects my whole week. But I'll do very, very specific things before the game and after the game. And so I'll wake up in the morning and I don't eat breakfast. I'm not really sure why, but I don't eat breakfast because I'm like, I think it's because I want to feel like peak condition in a way, which makes no sense because I'm not eating and I'm hungry and that. But I think it's that kind of feeling, because you get excited, and maybe it's because it helps if I can't absorb the alcohol that I'm drinking, so that I can get drunk and ignore it all and that. But it's a stress. But I don't eat breakfast, and then I live in Archway now, so I get the train, get the overground from Upper Holloway, down to, or across to South Tottenham, and then I'll walk up that bit of the high road up to Seven Sisters, and then I'll stand around, might get a coffee or something. I'm waiting for my dad, because my dad has to come from home obviously, so we sit together, and so I wait for him, and it's like I'm sitting there and I'm just I'm on the forums and that. I'm just waiting, and it's just nervy. It's like I don't enjoy it, but I do. It's it's the the worst feeling. But you got to do it. You got to put yourself through it, because you can't appreciate it otherwise. That anxiety and the highs and the lows, and it so when I go to football, I never wear Spurs shirt now. I used to when I was a kid. I got one. I think all kids have them, but just bad luck omen. Got this one on the wall, but no, I wouldn't wear one for the match now. It's just, we lost once, and just never again. Wouldn't wear it. Wear it at home around the house, but no, I wouldn't put it on for a game. It's weird. I'll always wear the colours. It's like navy and lily white. So I've got this. Basically, I'd wear this kind of thing to the game, and never red, obviously. And then we'd go around, walk up the high road with my dad, talk about lineups, that kind of stuff. Got a few friends, a few mates, Spurs fans as well. So I'll be texting them normally as soon as the team news comes out. Normally something, because we're annoyed that they're playing Lucas as a starter or something when he's much better coming off the bench. He just is. But stuff like that. And then, you know, we'll be walking up. It's actually like an amazing stadium. I know people always say like, you know, oh my stadium's the best, but like White Hart Lane was like everything. That was perfect, but that was perfect for us as Tottenham fans with the history that it had and how it just contained noise and everything, and it was scary to go to. This new stadium it would be perfect for any team, but it is so Tottenham. It's weird. It's like the fact that I think they just paid so much attention to it all that it doesn't feel like it could be anywhere else. But anyway, so we'll be going up the high road and talking to my dad obviously about various bits, and then might get a few drinks on the way. But we go normally quite early because we go to the stadium and drink there because it's actually cheaper than most of the pubs. It's £4 a pint, which is, you know, I mean, London obviously it's pretty good. But we'll go there like, yeah, maybe like an hour and a half before kickoff, which is unlikely because at the Lane or at Wembley when we was there, we'd basically get through the door about 5 minutes before kickoff. We wouldn't want to stick around too long, but like it's completely different. So yeah, we was. Sorry, that's distracted me. We go to the match. Just yeah, it's just something about Tottenham. I think it's the fact that the place is real, and you know, football's dying a bit. With all of the, I mean, it's one of the things. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Obviously, socially, it's getting more and more tolerant, which is, you know, where we want it to be going. You know, there's no place for discrimination in football, or anywhere, at all, and that's something that, you know, we need to take away from football culture, because that's the worst part of it. But yeah, at the same time, it's a working class sport, and you know, the working class are being kicked out of it. I mean, like for me, I can now get a ticket because the stadium's bigger, but I pay a lot of money for that ticket, and there's a lot of people that have been supporters a lot longer than me that can't afford to do that, and like, I shouldn't feel the guilt of that, but it's a terrible situation that, you know, the sport that was famously been for everyone and about everyone is becoming more and more exclusive. Just as the barriers of hate are starting, and I'm not saying that they are, but like once the barriers of hate are starting to come down around the sport, they're being built right back up again by elitism and that kind of the bar to entry. So, you know, I think it's a weird double-edged sword. I'm obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I just don't know. I go to football because football for me it's the only place where I don't have to think for myself anymore. I think that's the thing. I think a big part of it is that like I I'm like always aware of everything I do and every decision I make and the consequences of every decision I make. And it's terrifying being responsible for everything all the time. Um, and that's just what we have to do as people, and it's really painful. It's really painful trying to talk about certain things sometimes when you just don't want to get into it, and then like you've got Tottenham, you've got the football, whatever team you support, and it's a space where, and it sounds stupid because it's tribal, but it's a space where you don't have to be yourself as such. Like you are, like it's part of who I am, but just I'm not just, a kid that um that does, like whatever I do. I'm part of a bigger system, and a system that cares about each other, and you know it's a place, it's a community that will always help each other, and they, we share in exactly the same emotions during that time, and it's not just like the 90 minutes. It's not the first whistle to the last one. It's before the game, when I'm getting the train, when I'm waking up in the morning, putting my you know putting my clothes on very carefully, selecting what I'm gonna wear today. It's like, I don't want to say it's like armoring up to go to battle, because I think that's silly, but it's like, it's a ritual. It's almost a spiritual experience, which again sounds stupid, but you know I don't think people respect it unless they're inside it, which again sounds like a fucking cult, but maybe it is. Maybe that's what it is. Definitely pay a lot of money into it, and don't always feel like I get what I put in out of it, but it's just a big part of my life now, and I don't want to lose it. Um, yeah, just everything